Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome back to The View from the Afternoon. It's me and Mez today. Hey,
yo,
Mez.
yo.
So this is our first episode in a while that's not about festivals.
Thank God.
Yeah, I'm pleased about it as well. The festival ones are easy to consistently knock out if we want to just, be consistent. Case in point, the second we pivoted away from festivals, we've missed a week already.
Yeah.
But blame Ben. Ben's meant to be the host, so, fuck you, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
He was out with us on Friday night we went out.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, it was Friday though, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I wanted you to come out on Saturday,
Yeah.
but you were too fucked.
Too hungover. And he had time to do that, didn't he? We didn't have time to do the
Interesting.
podcast. I'm only joking, Ben. Before the Reddit gets their hands on that. Sends it into the Daily Mail. So should we talk about Jake Varley then?
He's a great guy and we love him.
Yeah, I was chatting to him about, he's a big Uncharted fan.
Yeah.
And I just finished the final Uncharted yesterday. Like the expansion. I've been playing a lot of games. It's been very rewarding. That's why we got a copy of Red Dead on the table here.
Yep.
Red Dead Redemption, Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, I've been really excited for you to play Red Dead again. You've never played the first one.
No, never.
So I'm looking forward to chatting to you about that when you've done it.
Yeah.
I still think that for the story, you should play the second one first. But I understand that it's hard to go back.
Absolutely. Like, as someone who just played... So I just played all 4 Uncharteds. Then the 2 Last of Us games, which are like emotional commitments and roller coasters.
Yeah.
And then I went straight into the Uncharted DLC. So like I just didn't give a fuck about like looking for treasure on Uncharted DLC because I'd just been through this turmoil with Ellie in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to play stuff now in the orders that they came out.
Fair enough.
So that's how Rockstar would have wanted me to enjoy Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead 2.
It is as intended. And I played it the other way around, and graphically
Huge step down, right?
It was hard to kind of warm to Red Dead 1.
I'm going to have to drag the 360 into the bedroom to play that, which is going to be annoying. First world problems. But
yeah.
I've been loving just playing games. I've completed almost 10 games this year already, which might not sound like a lot, but for someone who typically doesn't have a lot of free time, I've really thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's really therapeutic as well.
It's been brilliant. And it's now just figuring out, so the PS2 games that I want to play, like how to play them. Because I want to play them on the original, on a real PS2 and on an old TV. But like it's an expensive fucking hobby, and I just seem to be having more and more bills and costs coming my way.
Would it be shit if you played it on like your modern TV?
So you can do that. But for me, like, it just don't feel right. Sometimes it looks terrible. I've seen examples where like you can buy like a £5 converter to plug a PS2 into like a modern TV.
Yeah.
And my TV is, it's top of the line in terms of like modern state, like under like thousands and thousands of pounds. It's a really good TV.
Yeah.
But the better, and I got it, for cheap or from that second-hand place.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to show off there. But the world's shittest brag. But the better your TV is, the shitter an old console generally looks.
Interesting.
On it. You can spend quite a lot of money getting an adapter that makes an old machine look good on a new TV. But I also want to play Guitar Hero on it, so it needs to have 0 lag.
Yeah, well, I bought an e-Cara.
Yeah, what is that for the people who might not know?
So it was big when I was about 8, and it's like a microphone that you put a disc in, like a cassette, and it'll go onto your TV. It's like a karaoke, and I have great memories of that. But when it arrived,
Britney Spears on it and Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, like just some great songs. And it arrived. I got it on eBay for about £30. I bought it when I was drunk, and feeling nostalgic. And it arrived, and I plugged it into my TV with the SCART leads, red, white,
yellow.
and yellow.
Yeah, that's not SCART, but yeah, I know what you mean.
But that's like for
Component.
an old TV, innit?
Yeah,
Well, that shows how shit my TV is, because I already
Still
had
got it.
those. Yeah.
It's desirable though.
Well, you can have my TV if you want. We can swap.
It's not, yours isn't old enough.
But it looks rubbish.
Yeah.
And it was
It does.
shit.
I mean, if you remember when we first got an HD TV, which is actually the TV that's now in Danny White's bedroom, our Samsung. I think it was a 37-inch, and we got it in 2007.
Was it the curved one?
No, that's what's in Mum's living room now.
Right.
It was like a big fat Samsung, but slim, not fat like a CRT, but it had big bezels and shit. It would have been good when we bought it. But like everything just looked terrible on it because we didn't have any HD packages or anything. We bought the TV, but we just expected, it'll look better, but it actually looks a lot worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing games has been brilliant in helping me start the year right, and that's kind of what we wanted to talk about on this podcast, isn't it? We've both been focusing on some self-improvement, on some long fucking needed downtime.
Yeah.
And generally it's been a great experience. Where do we even start?
Well, why don't we start by saying what we've done?
In fact, I'll do one better. Why don't we start by saying why I'll at least explain why I felt the desire to make some changes.
Go ahead.
So obviously you know what we do. If you're watching this, thanks so much for tuning in or listening. I guess they're both tuning in. It's just non-stop for us, and particularly for me, because I'm not trying to complain here. I literally, if I died tomorrow, I would honestly say I've achieved and everything I want to achieve, and I'm very happy, and I'm grateful to feel that way. So do know that if I ever die, but you know, it is work as well, and it's hard work, and a lot of hard work goes into making it not look like hard work, especially. And by the end of last year, I just spent the whole year drinking for the channel, which is a requirement. I'm sorry. I know people will say, like, you don't have to be drunk to be having fun. Yeah, we do.
And not even just for a video. Like if we were doing something without filming it and we weren't drinking, and people might say, oh, you've got a problem. We don't. It's just our culture of getting drunk and having a good time.
And it's great. But and I can totally handle that. Like at least for a few more years. I don't feel like that's catching up with me. But it's combining that with doing it every week, having no time in between doing it to actually switch off, because I'll be editing a video or flying back from somewhere, traveling around. You know, it's a tough gig at times. And then combining that with, okay, so I don't have any time, so I'm just ordering food every day, literally every day, eating the most processed, delicious Wingstop shit, you know, non-stop. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm going out and eating somewhere. I'm just not eating at home, not cooking. The only time I would cook would be for HelloFresh. And then, you know, just trying to also balance that with a social life, which is also getting drunk.
Yeah.
So it just all kind of caught up with me. And you can really tell, but because at the end of last year, there was a lot of negativity in my life. There was the situation with Jake, which was really tough to navigate, like behind the scenes for him and for anyone else as well. You know, we'd never had a thing where there's some internal frustrations going on, but like everyone knows about it or thinks they know about it. Yeah,
and people kind of putting 2 and 2 together and making 5 with it, like making it so much worse than it really was. And,
you know, I would have liked to, there's different things I could have done and different things that Val's could have done. And I've seen Val's a number of times since then, and it's been excellent to spend time with him. And, you know, it's just a little blip in an otherwise pretty flawless friendship.
Yeah.
But it was a difficult thing to deal with, especially with, you know, both sides of us and Jake drip feeding little bits of info, but when in reality we shouldn't have drip fed any info from either. But so the community was kind of turning against a lot of us. And so that felt shit. And then having to drag myself up, and again, it sounds like a martyr here, I'm really not trying to complain, but having to drag myself over to Camp Flognaw.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I really didn't want to go to Flognaw, but it is my job. And sometimes I didn't want to go to standing curries all day selling cameras to people. But if, you've got to check yourself and be like, you've got to life's not all going to be amazing. And if, woe is me, you have to go over to California and go. And it sounds so entitled, but when you're that exhausted and, the channel is in its annual slump that it always does, and you've got to go out there and try and make something around something you're just simply not interested in.
Yeah.
For 10 days.
The flight itself is enough to make me kind of dread America a lot of the time.
It is hard work, and there's a lot of people that do much more important work than us.
Yeah.
A plethora of people who get a lot less credit than we do, and I'm not trying to say anything that I'm not saying directly, I suppose, but it was tough. So there was the flog-gnaw frustration and the anxiety of that, and the trying to force my way through that, trying to convince myself I enjoyed it, trying to convince that I enjoyed the edit, trying to convince myself I was having a good time when I just wasn't, which will have been detracting from Chucky's experience, which will have made Chucky have a worse time, which will have been cyclical and made me have a worse time, So there was the Jake thing, there was the flog-gnaw thing, and then, some of the personal things that we don't need to go into too much detail of, but that lightly involve the channel and other people in my life. And there was just three major things, those 3 things there. And I was just surrounded by negativity. I was a real hater for everything. I was like, I don't want to do this. I had a bad outlook on everything. I was pre-stressing, always thinking the worst about stuff, catastrophizing. And I just kind of had enough of it.
Yeah.
What was your reason for doing the change?
Well, I think something as well that you didn't mention is the back end of the year. That last week of the year was so busy for us. We had Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, lottery winners, 3 gigs in a row, drinking every day of that, then New Year's. And by the time New Year's, I didn't even want to go out on New Year's, but I was like, well, we've already bought the tickets.
I barely did.
Well, yeah, we literally left at about 10 past midnight.
Oh, you left with me, didn't you? Yeah.
But just so sick of drinking, and like you said, just not having enough time to feel like you can focus on your own personal well-being. For me, I really enjoy going to the gym and lifting weights. It's very therapeutic to me. But I felt like even though I might have been free one day, I was so tired from
it's not worth
the drinking that I can go, but I won't be doing anything of worth. So I was feeling like a continuous build-up of frustration. And then, so on the 4th of January, I had a breakup. I'm fine mentioning that. Like, I'm all good now, but I was in a pretty bad place, and I just thought
comments are lighting up.
Need to make a change. In my relationship, I'd put on like 3 stone in about a year and a half, and God, I was feeling it. And the pressure of being in videos as well. When we go to like a hot country, and I know that I've got to, I can't wear like joggers and a hoodie. I felt so much pressure because I knew that I was being watched. And I knew that people on the internet are fucking awful sometimes, and they are no holds barred. I thought, right, this is my time. I've got nothing on. I'm going to do dry January. I'm going to eat really well. I'm going to go gym all the time. And I've done it, and I feel so good. I've lost nearly a stone, even though you probably can't tell in this big outfit, but I'm feeling really positive, and it's the best thing I've done in a long time.
Very good. Yeah.
And we've helped each other out.
Absolutely. It's been integral to the process as having you. And you do look great. I've said that to you a few times.
You have,
it's not
and I
just
know
for
it's
show.
true when Rob says
I'll always be up front. If I think you look frumpy, I'll tell you. And I've done that before.
Yeah.
For better or worse. But you have a shine about you and a bit more radiance, and I think it's great. And
That's great.
I'm currently editing the video for Butlins, and you look great in that as well.
Thank you very much.
So, it's all about how you feel internally in it, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess it just shines through though, like you say. I'm just feel so much more confident and just better about my life.
For me, like I I'm not stopping drinking. Like I went out at the weekend, my first night out of the year, and obviously we drank at Butlins. And the thing that was good at Butlins is I was drinking, I was literally getting hammered, but like I was still doing my exercises in the day. I was still eating my fruit every day. And the hangovers didn't really hurt too much. And I'm drinking exclusively water unless I'm going out drinking, which sounds like a silly rule, but what it means is like, unless I'm on the lash, I'm only drinking water and a lot of it. And I was really anxious to get back into drinking, as in like I was worried about going to Butlins. I say this in the video. And it was so nice to have a great time drinking and not wake up feeling like utter shit. Yeah. Though I did feel like shit after I went out recently, so maybe some little tweak is needed. For me, like proving to myself that I can. We'll go through like the certain disciplines and the certain changes that we made in a sec, but now I've proven to myself. I've always been quite good with self-control. Like I decided for no real reason aside from like I just don't want to do that anymore, to stop vaping. Now I wasn't a big vapor. But like I would, if there was a vape around, I'd be begging for some. I'd be supping on it. I'd be taking like the biggest exhale I could. I'd do the biggest exhale. I remember doing it all through Rockworch to exhale as much air out so I could just suck in as much vape to get as much buzz as possible. And then on New Year's 2023, the New Year's Eve, I just decided as soon as it hits 12, I'm not going to do that. And I just haven't had any temptation to do it. Yeah, you have a very good willpower. It really is one of my strengths. And so this January challenge wasn't necessarily about what can I do or what can't I do. It was more overarching, like how far can I push my own discipline? Because when you're me, especially in the position I'm in now, which is such a blessing, but like I don't really have to answer to anyone, and no one holds me accountable. In a sense of like I don't have a manager. Yeah. I don't have, I've got my own set upload schedule that I've agreed with everyone, and I can do what I want. But then there's no one checking you. Yeah. Which is why we end up having some of those really slippery nights in the off season where we're just trying to, just get leathered and just end up on another level that we shouldn't really be doing, if you know what I mean. What, like? Just like with no one to keep you in check, it's really easy to just binge yourself into a hole. Well, I guess it's like every day is a day off in a sense because it's you're the one that's allocating your days off. It's the downside of being your own boss in a sense. I don't know if I'm articulating myself as well as maybe I thought I was when I started saying that point. But what I mean is no one's kept tabs on me. I don't mean like, why does no one keep it? What I mean is I don't have to get up to go in an office. Yeah. Which is I'm so grateful for. I know. I don't have to do essentially anything really until festival season starts. So it will be really easy for me to do whatever the fuck I want and keep eating Wingstop and keep doing nothing and going out. And how many gigs? How can I cram 100 gigs into the year? Even bands I don't care about. Yeah. God forbid I spend a second relaxing. And I wanted to just flip that on its head and be like, here's the most discipline you've actually ever had. And yeah, it worked really well. Yeah. Even dumb. So should we go? I don't know if I articulate myself very well. I think you did. Okay, excellent. I'll take that. Why don't we go into some of the specific things then that we did? Yeah, okay. Well, we'll go into the ones that we both shared. Okay. So no alcohol. Yeah. In January, big one. So no alcohol, obviously, is what it says on the tin. Yeah. And it's rare for us to have a month, a full calendar month where there's nothing going on because for the last few years, 1975 have toured in January. Yeah. So that's an immediate no. And every other month has got something where I'm going to drink. There's Sober October, but my birthday is in October. Yeah. So I'm never going to do that. You're usually in America in October at some point. And the thing is, like, I can hear people now with the best intentions saying, like, you don't need to drink to, but like, we've made the decision that we like to drink. That's the thing. Like, we like it. It's not like we feel the need to. It's just we want to.
Yeah, and it's not like we sit at home when we have nothing to do. I've never drink at home, and you don't either. No. Like, we only drink when it's accompanied by an event or a night out. Yeah. It's not like, oh my God, I haven't had a drink for 2 days. I need a drink.
So, absolutely.
It's the culture of,
it's just our generation culture that you either go one or two ways, and I couldn't be happier being on this side of that thing. And it's great to have a drink at a dance and let you, release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin.
100%.
So how did you find it doing no alcohol?
It was totally easy, apart from I went on a girls' weekend, and luckily one of the girls was also doing dry January, so that was a good person for me to lean on, because we did go out to a bar and it was fine. I had some non-alcoholic like beers and stuff, but I did feel a little bit empty because I could see everyone around me, like,
Did you feel self-conscious?
Yeah, I couldn't dance. We were gonna do karaoke, but I thought there's no chance.
I can't even do that when I'm drunk.
Yeah, so like I could not do that sober. I didn't dance, but it was nice to catch up with my girls and all that. But that was the only challenging part for me. Yeah.
Mine's similar. I had the 3 neck deep gigs.
Yeah.
With Chucky, so we did Birmingham, Manchester, and Glasgow in immediate succession of each other. Across 3 days is what I mean there. And that was the same. It was like, going to a gig is one thing, but then going out is totally different. And like, we went to clubs and I was really proud of how I did. I danced, I was singing. I did feel really self-conscious, and I needed Choc by my side.
Yeah.
Like, if Choc was going to the toilet, I'll come for a piss as well. And like, there was a lot of people there that we knew, and in these clubs across the country, and I'd said to Choc, like, look, I'm not mentally there for us to merge with that group and all of us kind of start like, but we had a good laugh, and the latest that we stayed out was 1 a.m. on 2 of the nights, but it felt good, and the audience will learn all about another big improvement I made to my life. But now's not the time for that. But part of that improvement caused me so much stress in January. A hell of a lot of stress.
Are we not talking about, are you not even mentioning what it is?
No.
Is it about, I can't work out which one.
It was something that happened that made me really need a fucking drink. And it's all positive. And don't read too far into it. But it's because whatever you think it is, you've no idea, because I've not even dropped any breadcrumbs for this. But
I don't even know still.
Well, perfect. I might not have even told you, but either way, something happened where I really could have done with a drink, and it was right smack bang in the middle of those 3 neck deep shows, and I still didn't have one.
Oh,
so I was really happy with myself.
I know what you mean. Okay.
So, it really tested me. The Lord tested me, and he threw everything at me, where just a Corona would have just been nice, And I fucking smashed it, and so did you.
Yeah, we did well.
Were you anxious about getting back into drinking? Obviously, Butlins was taking place on the final day of January, on the 31st.
Yeah, it felt like a bit of a step back, even though, it wasn't really.
It did, didn't it?
I felt like I was in such a role that I didn't want to come away from Butlins and then just be like, oh, back to my old ways again,
Yeah, and I think that's why I've kept a lot of my habits up.
Yeah. So another habit is veganism. Although for me, I still eat eggs because I very much value the importance of a good egg for protein.
Now, I just want to jump in and say our audience knows that we've done this challenge, or at least that I've done it. And there was mixed responses. So an overwhelming amount of support, as our amazing audience often delivers for us, which is great. But a lot of concern of like, it's not healthy to be vegan. I hope you're taking these vitamins as a supplement. It's stupid. You should be, we're meant to eat meat, blah, blah, blah. I totally get that. And I don't have any ethical reason for being vegan. And I don't have any health reason for being vegan. The only reason that I switched was, well, at the start of January, just an exercise in discipline. It's not good enough to just stop having Wingstop.
Yeah.
Let's go all the way to the total opposite and see how you get on. But the joy that it has brought me
yep.
is really surprising. Because this is the first time I'm cooking at home. I'm using the pans. I'm using the hobs. Yeah. I'm using the microwave. I'm using the air fryer. I've never, ever, ever... I just don't do that.
No, you just make like noodles as probably as far as you
or ordering.
Yeah.
And some of the foods that I've experienced, it's nothing fucking fancy. We're talking like Beyond Meat burgers.
Yeah.
And those Vivera kebabs.
Yeah, incredible.
But it's just so rewarding to just rustle yourself something up. And because I'm buying all like Ben's a vegan, as we know. And Ben doesn't really buy the imitation stuff, if that makes sense. But I have been buying just all the vegan version of something you already know.
Yeah.
So that's got all the stuff in it, pretty much, that people are worried about me not getting.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. Like the bread rolls have got extra protein in them.
Yeah.
There's extra vitamins in like this, that, and the other. It's not like I'm just eating carrots.
In it, I think that's such a big misconception a lot of people have when you talk about veganism. Like, you've been eating better, probably a much more nutrient dense diet as a vegan than you have when you were eating meat.
It's been class. I had imitation prawns in some noodles and like a little stir fry today.
Yeah.
I went to Morrison's, doing the shops. Great fun to see because my mind's just opened up so much. I went to fucking Little Tokyo and had a ramen bowl, like a proper soup with mushrooms in it and stuff that I would never want. Give me like carbs and spicy and chicken was all I was wanting. And now, it sounds so childish, but like having, having something with the ingredients instead of going, oh, take that lettuce out. I'm buying lettuce.
Yeah.
I've just bought another bag of shredded iceberg lettuce to stuff into my kebab.
Yeah,
it's not a
perfect.
euphemism. And it's class, man.
And like for me, before I even started this challenge, if I'm at home and I'm going to cook, I really hate preparing meat. I'm really squeamish about meat. If I'm doing chicken, like I have to cut it up, like shred it basically, because if there's a vein or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't want to, it creeps me out as well a bit.
Yeah, and if I eat something and like there's a bit of gristle, I'm like, right, I can't finish that. So I usually would buy like fake meats and stuff and just eat vegan or veggie at home. And when I do that, digestively, I feel good. Like you eat something and if I have a Mackey's afterwards, I'll kind of feel a bit like, oh.
Yeah.
But after I've eaten a high fiber, like noodle, an egg, like dish, which I've been eating a lot of.
Yeah.
I feel content in my tummy.
I get it. You told me about that when we bought. So when in late December, we went to Asda, big Asda in a place called Morley in Leeds. It's like the biggest Asda we can get to. And, because I didn't have any idea, and you kind of took me around and showed me all the stuff to buy. And, I got a little haul and there was like what I would describe as just a bag of seeds. It was called like pulses and grains, and you put it in the microwave and you just eat that. And like I ate and I was like, fucking, and I would never have.
No.
I would if you gave this to me as a gift, it would go straight in the bin. But like, it was
gorgeous
great.
though, innit?
And I'll tell you what, not to get a bit TMI, but my shits have been way better.
Yeah, I can.
I used to go through a roll a day of toilet roll. I'd have like a 30-second shit, 8-minute wipe. Everyone's tuning out. I should have said this on the Jack Mate podcast. But now it's much more streamlined.
Yeah, I can only echo what you're saying there.
So being vegan has been great, and I'm keeping it up, but I'm not going to keep it up forever, and I know that. but I'm definitely going to land somewhere in the middle. But I am going to go back to eating meat at some point. Ultimately, there are going to be times where, we're in America and my options are slim. And for me, it's just about opening that door as wide as possible, considering everything that I can eat now.
Yeah.
And then just close it to somewhere where it's in the middle of just Wingstop on one end.
Yeah.
Everything on the other end. And just find somewhere happy in the middle.
It'll give you some like moderation. I think that's key. Same with the drinking. Like, you don't need to go out every weekend. You can have a relaxing weekend in. You can play your games.
And that's what gaming's been helping me with so much because, I'm desperate to be social. I'm so desperate for social interaction. That's why I'm always going to stuff.
Yeah.
Not just channel stuff, but it's why I'm doing 100 gigs in a year.
Yeah, you struggle to have nothing.
I don't want to do nothing, but gaming has been the perfect distraction. And and also a lot of the people closest to me also love gaming, so we can talk about it, we can discuss it, we can make recommendations and stuff. So that's been wonderful. Anything else to say on the vegan front?
I don't think so, but if we move on to the next thing we've been doing.
Sure.
So Rob's been coming to the gym with me. I've been
it's got me a little training plan, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been acting as a PT.
Baby steps.
And you know what?
I just learned yesterday how to change the weights for myself.
Yeah,
this time.
Finally.
I knew anyway, I just couldn't be asked.
Because I've got a gym that I go to and I primarily do like lower body and I kind of neglect the upper body. I think most girls do that. But I've got a gym in my apartment complex and me and Rob have been going there, try and go every other day.
Yeah, it's tomorrow, isn't it? We're going.
Yeah, and we went yesterday. And it's been really good for me because I would never have dragged myself to my apartment gym if I didn't have you going there. And it's fun. It don't feel like...
And I wouldn't be able to go if you didn't have it because I'm not confident enough or committed enough to the gym specifically to get a gym pass to go in. If we go into like a proper gym, I need to buy the gear.
Yeah.
I can't just rock up in my Supreme hoodie and my cargos like I have been at your gym. Which you were quite embarrassed. But I wouldn't have the self-confidence to go into a proper gym.
No, it's hard. It's really...
this is it's got the proper stuff. It's got good equipment, but you know what I mean? A conventional gym.
Yeah, because if you're going to an apartment gym, it's likely that you're not super serious. You're not like a gym head. Because gym heads have a gym membership, typically. I mean, even I've got a gym membership that's outside of my apartment gym.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been really nice because I find that because you're there with me and we've predetermined number of sets we're going to do. So it's like, I probably would have just stopped at 6 here, but I'm going to continue till 12. We'll do 3 sets of 12. And we have a laugh, don't we? It's fun.
It's great.
It's good to catch up.
It's good to keep, I've seen you more in the last few months at least than I ever have.
Yeah.
And it's good to strengthen the relationship, not that it needed doing, but yeah, and I've really loved it. Mary says that there's something called baby gains, which I might start seeing. I am a little concerned because 2 people have commented on my weight. I mentioned this to you. Only in positive ways. I'm out with a dear friend of mine for the first time in a little while, and they said, "Oh, you're looking healthy. You're looking slim," and that was it. But I'm like, am I looking slim? I don't really want to be looking any slimmer because I'm pretty scrawny as is, except for the belly. I've really been trying to get rid of the belly. So I need to just make sure I'm still eating as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, if you get enough protein in and stuff, you'll see the work that you're putting in the gym.
But the one thing that's been disappointing is, so along with going to the gym, I've been building in exercise, and a big part of that is sit-ups. Basic as it comes. And if you've seen the Patreon vlog of my January progress, you'll see some of the progress in there. Little plug. Check that out. You only have to spend $5 and you get loads of shit. And I started off and I couldn't do 9 sit-ups. And now I do 100 a day across 3 sets.
Yep.
And I know that's not the only thing that's going to help with my belly. General exercise, better eating, less drinking. It's gonna. But I've done all of that. And then today, I took a picture of myself in the mirror and compared it to the start of January.
Right.
And the belly is almost identical. So something else is going on with it. Now, I have been tested for the low testosterone by our upcoming sponsor, Manual. And I do have low testosterone, which apparently is a contributor to belly fat, which was a great light bulb moment for me. But also something else is going on with it, and I don't really know what. It's massive and bloated the second I wake up when I've not eaten anything. And it's just as massive and bloated now I've eaten something, and I'll go to bed and it'll be just as massive and bloated.
Yeah, because it's not fat. It's like it's almost hard looking, and it's not like, I don't know, there's something going on that's making you bloat, and it could be so many different things. Like
you even mentioned, it could be a food intolerance of some kind.
Yeah, but then if you're not having any kind of digestive problems, then it's unlikely that you've got an intolerance to something.
Who knows?
And you've been vegan, so that cuts out a lot of things most people are intolerant to, like dairy.
True.
Have you been taking the probiotic I gave you?
Yeah, it's on the table. I literally had one just before you came around.
Have you noticed any kind of...
No. But I'm going to keep on at it. Obviously, Rome weren't built in a day.
Yep.
As they say. Keep going to the gym. Try to get some definition in the arms. Not that I even want that. It's just, again, exercising discipline.
Yeah.
If I can do that, something totally out of my comfort zone.
And get stronger as well, not even just the physical look of it.
I'm pretty strong anyway.
Yeah.
What else have we done?
In
fact, focusing on the exercise still, I'll touch on some things I did specifically.
Right.
We won't spend too long on this, but so just making sure I get out of the flat. It sounds dumb, but getting out of the flat every day for at least 5k worth of walk.
Yeah.
That was really good fun. I enjoyed it. Got on my little route. The hardest thing that I did was the stairs rule.
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, I live in a high-rise block of flats, and I live quite high up in that block of flats. So I take the lift up because there's 30 individual runs of stairs. And it would be mental to not take the lift.
Yeah.
So I made sure in January to only take the stairs going up. I'd get the lift down. That's fine.
Yeah.
Going up. And it just didn't get any easier. It just, from day 1 to day 31. And it got to the point where I'd be like, I need to go down and get some fruit, because I've been eating fruit every day. 1 piece of fruit every day. It's not much, but it's better than none.
Yeah.
I need to go down to the Tesco and get some fruit, and it's like, oh fuck. Well, if I do that, I need to walk up the stairs as well. And then I'm like trying to consolidate, like, right, think about everything today. Make sure that there's nothing else you need to leave the flat for.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, that's the wrong way of doing it. So I would immediately just be like, a rule I adopted from James Pumphrey on YouTube, who did like a things to do in 2025. He said, like, do the little thing now. Like, that's a good bit of, and I really adopted that. And it sounds so dumb, but like, instead of just putting the plate in the sink, just do it now. Just wash it up.
It's a great rule.
And I had to do the same with the stairs. It was like, don't think about the stairs. If you need to go downstairs and buy a piece of fruit, go downstairs. Worry about the stairs when you're coming back up.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a fucking nightmare, Mez.
I couldn't have done it.
Oh, it was torture. And coming back from Butlins and using the lift was great.
Oh, of course, yeah, because it wasn't January anymore.
Yeah. What else?
I've been fasting. I love fasting anyway. I'd fasted for years. I hate eating breakfast. Kind of makes me crash if I eat breakfast, and I'm quite alert when I'm just drinking black coffee. So, but I've like set a rule. So I've been fasting for 18 hours a day, eating in a 6-hour window. And I've got an app.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I'd usually fast for maybe like 15 hours.
It's highly recommended to do intermittent fasting.
It's really good for you.
I just get too hungry.
Thing is, you end up...
I could never be a Muslim. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah,
I was speaking to my taxi driver the other day. Obviously, I've had loads of Muslim mates over the years in work and stuff.
Yeah.
And school. And I always think about Dad telling us this story from when he lived in Bahrain, and all of his Muslim mates would be like desperate to eat, so he'd make them a load of like cheese sandwiches and like sneak them out to them, and they'd scoff all the cheese sandwiches.
During?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the friend you need. God, saboteur.
I always think of that whenever I'm speaking to a Muslim about fasting. I always want to tell them that story, but I'm like, they won't appreciate it.
Yeah, I do think it's good, and you end up getting used to it, and especially if you're drinking black coffee, because it curbs your appetite. I couldn't fast without my coffee, but I think that's helped. And it stops you from binging as well, because you only have 6 hours to eat. So you get full pretty quick.
What are your hours to eating?
They change every day. So like some days I might not eat until...
Oh, so you'll just be like, I'm going to open it up now.
Yeah, I've got an app called Zero, and it's like start fast now. And then I might be able to eat from like 2:30. And then I might finish eating, be full at 6. So I'll start my fast at 6.
And that's healthy and okay to do that?
Yeah. 100%. I'm sure that a lot of people won't agree with it,
Aye.
but as long as you're eating like your full day's calories, it's all good.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, I think that's all I did.
There's what was I saying? I made a spreadsheet. I love making lists and sheets.
Yeah.
I'm like addicted to it. And then like every day it had like, what fruit have I had? What exercise have I done? What have I done that's productive today? What have I had for dinner? And any other notes. And every day, like, there needed to be something, like, good in every field. Though there was one fucking day where I forgot to eat some fruit, man.
Oh.
One day, the only day of the year. A few other, like, loose rules. I say loose rules. I'm sticking to them for now. No fast food unless we're out in the field.
Yeah.
You know, so when we're at Butlins, I had a vegan Burger King and a vegan Subway.
Yeah.
Because there really wasn't too much options there.
There wasn't.
And if we're rolling as a 4, we need to eat to move on to the next thing. I'm not going to be like, hang on, guys, I'm going to go to the shop. I'm going to go back to the hotel and try and rustle something up using like what's in the hotel. So like, you know, no fast food when I've got any excuse to, you know. And
I mean, your Subway was healthy.
Well, it's just full of veg, wasn't it? It was pretty grim. But I'm going to try and do the whole year with no Mackies.
Wow. That's big.
I know. There's a few times in the coming year where I think that's going to be a struggle. Just because, I mean, I don't even think, I want a Mackies, but there's just novel new Mackies in new places that I might want to try. But I'm going to try and do it.
Yeah, because when I think of you, I don't really think of you as a Mackey's kind of guy.
I'm not really. It's just, it's only there. And 20 nuggets it's getting more expensive, but, you know, it's cheap enough and it fills me. It's that thing.
And you get 4 curry sauce to give to me,
yeah.
which I'm really missing, by the way. I'm all out.
I'll bet. But another thing, probably the last thing for me is, God, my mind's gone completely fucking blank there as I was saying it. I've not had a coffee all year.
Yeah.
As part of the strictly drinking water unless I'm out drinking. That's not something I'm going to keep up forever. I did it in 2019, no coffee and no crisps for 6 months, just for no reason. And the first coffee I had was fucking delicious. And I'm really craving it. And I'm obviously collecting. To get my fruit, I get a Tesco meal deal. So I'll go get a Tesco meal deal. I get a fruit pot main, big one.
Yeah.
A fruit pot snack. And then I'll get an iced coffee. And I'm just stockpiling them for Nancy.
Yeah.
For when she comes over. And I keep seeing them all over my room, obviously, because that's where I'm stockpiling them.
Yeah.
And I just think, God, I'd fucking love to have one of them. They're so nice. There's one there. I can see it there in the fridge.
That best ones
Delicious.
as well. Cafe latte.
Oh, but it's all an exercise in discipline, isn't it? And, you know, I sound like a broken record, but that's the whole point. Push it as far as I can and then land back somewhere in the middle. It's
good to prove something to yourself.
It's all it's about, proving it to yourself. You know, some people... even those close to me will be like, it's pointless. It's like, yeah, maybe it is, but like I can do it,
Yeah.
you know.
And like, even though you're not going to stick with everything, you can foster some good habits. Like the veganism, when you eventually go back to eating meat, you'll have a much fuller diet for the vegan stuff that you'll still be eating.
For sure. And do you know what? Soon as festival season rolls around, you know, I'm not gonna pretend here. I'm gonna be drinking every week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be traveling. There's one section that I'm a little anxious about of the year that you're also involved in.
Yeah.
Where we're flying to Europe, flying back here, flying straight to America, flying back here, and then flying straight to Europe and back here again. That's going to be fucking hard work.
I'm scared. I mean,
I'm a bit scared.
I had a breakdown at Beat Herder.
We can do it though. We got this. And that's also part of it. Like, by being more strict on myself now, when I don't have the time to do that and I'm not taking care of myself, so to speak, not that I'm deliberately mistreating myself, but, you know, when I'm, you know what I mean? When duty calls and
when you don't have
work's
the
got to
luxury
be done,
of taking care.
you know, I'm in the knowledge of there's a 5-month period of the year where I'm not really going to be able to look after myself. So by being so extreme now, it levels out.
Yeah.
Kind of average to what maybe a normal person's life would be.
Yeah, definitely. And it's worth saying as well that even when we have our really busy times, you know, in the time it might feel like, oh, I'm so like exhausted and blah blah blah. But then looking back, all you think about is the good memories.
It's always the same, innit? I mean, you know, we're not stressing out about the cancelled flight home from Roskilde, are we? Do you know what I mean? We're not thinking about that. We're not thinking about. I'm not thinking about. God, I don't want to go to Flognor. I'm thinking, here was the good bits of Flognor. Wow, I really like Tyler the Creator now. Oh, that was cool to go to Buffalo Wild Wings with Bevo. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, but he was in there with us. Chucky was losing his mind. He was like, Bevo's here. Like, what?
Bevo's that guy with the teeth.
He's like, I need to tell Jake.
Yeah.
Like,
but
what's he doing in a Hollywood Boulevard Buffalo Wild Wings?
You do look back and it's all just, you just remember the good.
Life is great.
Times. So it's good to just get shit done.
And it's what we make of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, let's rock and roll in the summer.
Yeah.
And stop trying to over innovate and achieve in the winter. Because what I have noticed, we've done there's been like 3 years now of like full-time proper TPD output. Not necessarily that I've been doing it as my full-time job exclusively, but it has been a full-time job alongside my other full-time job at least. And, you know, 3 years ago, we tried putting out shelved and banked festival content in the last quarter of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'd go to the festivals, we'd have some in the bank, and we'd drop them in the off season. That didn't work, but it's a desperate attempt to try and stay relevant. You got to keep your number up, keep your head above the water. And then last year, it was try and extend the festivals. Can we do EDC Las Vegas and start festival season in May? Can we do Camp Flognor and end festival season in November?
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, we just don't need to do that. We do perfectly fine, killing it in the summer, and that's enough to sustain us for the whole year.
Yeah.
And then we can put out true passion projects like the fast food video that just dropped.
Yeah.
You know, guess what? It didn't break the internet. It didn't go viral. It didn't live up to the chicken shop video, but it certainly satisfied me from a creator perspective.
Yeah.
You know, it was a joy to make that video and get everyone as involved as they were, come over for voiceover. And I'm so proud of that. And it's one of the best vids we'll ever make. And it's that instead of like trying to squeeze in as much as possible. It's like, let's take our time with something, and you know, and we're not stressing. Like we're not chilling. We're chilling. I used to be stressed around this time of year.
Yeah.
You know, and guess what? We're dropping one vid in January. It's done. Enjoy it. It's fucking brilliant, if I do say so myself.
It is good.
I'm working on our February video now. You're going to get that in February. We had a great time doing it.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm editing it slow as shit. I've only started today and we got back a week ago. Yeah, I've only started editing it today.
It's good. Take your time.
It's
It'll
chill.
probably end up better
It
because
don't matter. Yeah, it's all good. The audience is loyal and they'll appreciate some decent content.
Yeah.
Guess what's coming out in March? One video. It's going to be great. No proper deadline. It's class. Instead of trying to squeeze as much in.
Yeah, let's go to this really shit,
Yeah.
somewhat local event that nobody cares about, including us.
Absolutely. Do things for the right reason and spend the time where you think you need to be cramming those Sundays full of content. Spend it just relaxing,
Yeah.
playing a game, eating a vegan kebab.
Watching Severance, which you're going to do
I'm going to
very
do it.
soon.
I'm going to do it.
I
I
am
promise you.
desperate for Rob to bite the bullet and start Severance because it is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I'm not
Wow.
like...
Better than Jack Harlow.
Well, that was a recency bias.
Was it us that went to see Jack Harlow in the O2
Yeah, and
Academy?
he was shit.
He was shit, yeah.
It was probably
I do
half
like
the
him,
venue.
but...
He's cool.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to
Yeah.
quite a personal
Yeah.
and thoroughly enjoyable conversation for
Yeah.
me. Love the sound of my own voice. I want to give a little bit of a plug to the Patreon, not to shill it too much, but the Patreon's looking really stacked at the minute. We're coming up to the 200th episode of A Day in the Life, which is wild to say. And the last 7 have been Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
They're just easy, simple little vlogs as a thank you to the people that support us. It's not that we want you to join to see those videos. We want you to join because you want to support the channel, and they're just like a little thing that you get.
Yeah.
But I'm just really pleased with where that's at. This isn't a call to action. It's just, I've been slowly working on the Patreon and trying to make it the best it can be. And some of the vlogs that we've got in the bank and have just released, like the January one, that was a full month project. I loved making it.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, that'd go on the main channel. But now, some people were saying, put this on the main channel, give it to all of us. It's unfortunately, in the algorithm game, I can't afford to jeopardize the trajectory and the success of the channel by putting out a video that you 10% might really be interested in, but the general audience that want to see us at Coachella sadly aren't. And it's been great to create that and send it to the masses on Patreon. And we do have such a great Patreon community, and we've got some great feedback on that. And it's great to be able to create something like that and put it out to an audience, whereas I couldn't do that before when there was no people on Patreon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're having to think about like you say, not just the real dedicated people who kind of watch us do anything. You have to think about, because if you have a really low performing video on YouTube, then the algorithm, when you put your next video out, it's probably not going to push it as much.
Yeah,
and you've got to think about that, sadly, because YouTube is a bit of a wanker at times.
It is, but it's been so nice. And do you know what? On Patreon, the views don't matter, the likes don't matter.
Yeah,
it's just a great feeling of, these are my people who, we're one and the same.
Yeah.
I can't do this without you. And I really do mean that. Patreon is the lifeline of the channel. It does sound like a plug. Please don't go and join the Patreon after this. But, here's something I've made for you guys, and I'm certain you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And it changes, we have an easier and I don't want to say a better time, but when we're making a piece of Patreon content, it's like the old days where
it really
we're trying to just have a good time first.
Yeah.
And here's a video that we made while we're doing it, as opposed to, right guys, let's plan how we're going to do Primavera. What are we going to do? Right, we need to show the food, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And believe me, that works for the main channel. And anyone that says, we'd love to see that on the main channel, I believe that you'd love to see it, but trust me, it wouldn't work.
No.
It would do the opposite thing to what you think it would, and I'm certain of that.
I really like when we're doing stuff like when we went to see Lottery Winners. I have a better time when we're capturing some kind of vlog, because I like to be able to look back on what we've done. A big part of the reason I really like what we do is because it's like a video like time capsule.
It's lovely, isn't it?
For us.
It's like an ultimate photo album.
Yeah, and with the Patreon videos, it is like you say, like the old style videos where it's kind of just goofing around, like there's
absolutely
being stupid and
you know, the January challenge was set in stone anyway, but by making the vlog, it motivated itself. Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, oh, I haven't done any vlog today. Oh, I haven't had my walk. I'll go and vlog the walk. Stuff like that. So the Patreon really helps in countless ways. What else? What's next? What are we doing next? What we got next up? We're just coming up to the hour.
What, in terms of
just any other business, I suppose.
Well, next, as in like what we're gonna do together, is we're going to see the 1975 tribute band on the 7th of March in Liverpool.
We'll be going to Benidorm before that.
No, Benidorm's 14th of March.
God, we really do have a lot of time, don't we?
Yeah, gonna continue on the health journey. But that'll be good. You've seen them before.
They're called the 10s. Oh,
9075.
Are they? Yeah. I went to see them at their. This is the world's shittest brag. So I'm at their first ever UK show. And I'm looking forward to it. They're great. Tickets are expensive at 16 quid.
Yeah, but this is the last wave. I could have bought them at 11.
I went to see a Muse tribute band with Chris the other day in Manchester, and I know you wanted to come. Just
never let me know that he's going.
Let me tell you, it wasn't worth it. And it was
Chris.
17 quid a ticket.
Wow.
And I remember when Don Broco was. I sound like a boomer here, but like, not saying this Muse tribute band weren't a proper band. They were impressive in many ways, but like, I remember when proper bands were 20 quid for the Academy not too long ago. You know, when Broco last played Leeds Academy, we couldn't have paid more than 25 quid for those tickets.
God, it's so long ago now.
But the industry's just so, you know, the Neck Deep tour, they were all like 40 quid a go, I think.
I think after COVID is probably they've got a lot to recoup from that.
I'm not dissing anyone. You know, a lot of these bands are very, you know, audience focused and people first, and they're not trying to rip anyone off, but it is just a tell of how the industry is. When your tribute bands are now charging you best part of 20 quid.
I know.
You know, I mean, 5 quid would do a tribute band for me.
Yeah, you'd think so.
You know, but hey ho, this will be good, the one in Liverpool. So if we see you there, we'll see you there.
Yeah.
We're going to try and keep the pod flowing and going. I'm going to be speaking to Ben. We're going to try and get some stuff done. But we didn't really plan this conversation, completely organic. Yeah. And I've had a blast.
Yeah, so it's been good.
Did you watch the Super Bowl halftime show?
Nah, I just don't care.
Kendrick?
Yeah, I just don't care about any of it.
It was, I loved it. But it's been very heavily criticised, and it's nice to see Kendrick finally get some criticism, because everyone's always up his ass for everything he does.
I don't like the Drake thing. It makes me sad for Drake. I was imagining Drake like sat at home and he sees that and he hears all the audience shouting that. It makes me upset. He's not. That's like libelous. He's
almost,
not. He's not a pedo that we know of.
It is not like Us is a banger. I didn't like it at first. I love it now. Like, let's be clear, I do love it, but I do think, you know, how many times can ultimately you're falsely accusing someone of being a sexual predator.
Yeah, like,
which they're definitely not. I'm sorry, but they're just not.
Like, my take on it is, obviously there's like the main crux of that argument is Millie Bobby Brown stuff, which without any nuance looks suspicious. But Drake was, you know, a teen actor. That's how he started out. And I don't think it's that bad for a teen actor to reach out, like an ex-teen actor to reach out to someone in the industry and just have like a general chat. I don't know.
Well,
maybe I'm missing something.
I've said this to you, right? But I loved Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Loved it. If I was a global superstar and I knew my message was going to get opened by anyone that I sent it to, and I'm watching Stranger Things and I'm fucking loving. What's that guy who looks a bit interesting on Stranger Things? I don't know.
Which one? They all do.
The cute one. Where's the cap? The young. No, they're all young.
The one with the teeth thing.
The lad, the kind of comic relief lad in the main. It doesn't matter.
Dusty, is his name?
Does
Dusty?
yeah, maybe. But like, I would want to send them a message and be like, "What's good, man? You're killing it.
Yeah,
Loving this
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Let's have a chat." Like it can be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't have to
I'm
be.
not saying, can I fuck you, please? It's not that.
It doesn't have to be like something sinister. And if that's all people have to go on with Drake, just leave him alone. He's literally, I love
But
Drake
the thing is,
so much.
people are so far up Kendrick's ass.
I know.
And do you know what? I don't want to sound super pretentious, but I can guarantee you, I was listening to Kendrick Lamar before 99% of the people in this country. I promise you, I was listening to Kendrick Lamar way before his first studio album even came out. There's very few bands where I can say I was like an early adopter, but I was an early adopter of Kendrick Lamar. I love him. He's written some of my favorite albums and songs of all time, but it does wind me up that he's immune from criticism. Like no one ever criticizes him, even when I think he deserves a bit of criticism. And it was nice to see at the Super Bowl, most people that I've seen online outside of the Kendrick sphere are saying it was shit. And I can totally respect that point. I loved it because he played a load of songs I know, particularly off the new album, which I'm absolutely loving. But the Super Bowl halftime show should be a spectacle for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's why stuff like the Bruno Mars one, I don't really give two fucks about Bruno Mars. I like him, but like that's why I think that's one of the best ones ever. Because he comes out, he's on the drums, he does a drum solo, he switches onto the guitar, he's got the band, and then the Red Hot Chili's come out as a guest, and it's just all songs that you know. But like this was more like a showcase of Kendrick, and people go, oh, he's an artist. Yeah, he is an artist, but like, and it was great as a Kendrick fan. I loved it, and I've watched it again today twice, and it gives me goosebumps. But great to see that, like, not everyone's just completely up his ass saying it's the best thing I've ever seen.
I really don't like his jeans. I can't believe he chose to wear those jeans.
He has a stylist.
Well, I can't believe he needs to fire him.
It's the same. Chris told me this. Same stylist as Timothy Chalamet.
Really?
I think Kenny always looks tip top.
The jeans are the wrong shape for his body. They really shortened his stature.
I mean, he's very short. Anyway,
I know, so don't wear them jeans. Like, pop some Timbs on or something, like Raz does.
There you go, Kendrick. If you're listening, mate. Hey, what's up, K-Dad? It's me. Dress like Raz. Well, a little bit of current events there. Drake is currently on tour in Australia, selling out stadiums. I'm really interested to see how he bounces back. I'm not a big Drake fan. I like Drake a lot, but like I've never listened to a Drake album. I like the singles.
He's funny and he's goofy
I think he's a super likable guy.
Yeah.
That's why I like him, but I'm not like a Drake diehard. I've never listened to a single Drake album.
No, neither have I. I like his singles.
But he's, and I would never even include him in a conversation of like, who's the best rapper? Because he's a pop guy to me, but he does rap and sometimes he raps well. And I thought there was some great bars in some of his stuff against Kendrick. When that was going on, but just no one has the time to give it any thought because Kendrick's gonna say something now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and do you know, I said this to Danny today, but it's like Matty Bridie. Kendrick Lamar's like Matty Bridie. Everyone loves him and he can get away with anything. Bridie could say anything, and if me and Bridie were having a diss battle, I could come correct and clever and double, triple entendre. It don't matter because whatever Bridie would say, people would love it.
Yeah.
And fair play to Bridie. He's got that.
Yeah.
The gift of the gab. And that's kind of how people treat Kendrick.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know what Drake's going to do about this because it's slander on the biggest platform in the world.
I'm not sure if it is.
Did he not say
he said,
Drake?
Yeah, that's the lyric to the song. But it's, I heard you like them young, is the lyric. It's not.
Is it?
Yeah, it's say Drake, I hear you like them young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1. If any bitch talks to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. So it's all
Right.
on the kind of fringe
Okay.
of like, it's not saying like you are categorically this. Because he's not. Because Kendrick couldn't get away with that because it's not true. But it's just like when we used to say like, you're a pedo to like our mates, but on like a scale that's so insurmountable.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see the funny side in it. Like I was buzzing when he said it last night. I was like, that's an insane like pop culture moment that's just happened live in front of me.
It's funny if it's not you.
It
As
is,
Raz likes
it's funny.
to say.
It is funny if it's not you, and
Imagine
it is
if it
funny.
was
And
you.
believe me, I think it's funny. And I listen to Not Like Us almost every day. I think it's got some select bars are some of the worst bars Kendrick could have ever put out. Some of them don't really even make too much sense, but it's a great song. But
I'd be interested to know if, like, because I've not done much research on the Drake thing. I know about the Millie Bobby Brown stuff, which I personally just think is not an issue. But is there something else that is out? Because I've not seen anything else.
if there is, then redact everything we've just said.
Like,
But I don't think there is. I mean, I'm pretty versed in it. I've watched every video essay there is to learn about it, and I don't think there is anything.
if there was, then he would be cancelled, and there would be definitive. I mean, Millie Bobby Brown probably would have come out and been like,
Yeah.
"He's a creep,"
Yeah,
but she probably, they're probably pals.
absolutely, they're pals.
Yeah,
Fuck me, but
he's hung out with like a mum and dad before.
well, good for him,
Yeah,
and I wish him nothing but continued success. And I'm looking forward to seeing what how he actually bounces back. He's done a few features, some really bad ones, and he's currently doing his sellout US tour, Australia tour, which seems to be going really well.
good.
But what we need to see is how the experiment plays out when he goes back home to Canada and he releases a body of work that's not a feature, and how that performs on Billboard, because he's always the king of Billboard. He'll have like,
Yeah,
that's his bread and butter. He's not this underground street rapper who came from nothing. He is a hit making superstar,
yeah,
and that's why Kendrick never fills up the Billboard and Drake always does. It's just two different games that they're
Yeah.
playing. And I'll be the first to admit I'll be really happy if he just comes back and smashes it, and
Same.
everyone's like, cool,
And
and then
I-
he can turn his Instagram comments back on.
Oh, has he got them turned off?
They're like limited
Limited.
because every person would just be commenting A minor,
Oh.
and it's genius from Kenny, but
It is, but it's also, I think, let's all have some empathy for how awful that must feel for Drake. Like, he's,
the thing is, Mary, in this life, no one will ever empathize with someone who's got more money than them. No matter what's going on. Remember, some rich people went down I'm not saying these are similar, but some rich people went down to see the Titanic in a submersible, and people were cheering that a billionaire had died.
yeah, it's kind of fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, January's been great. And we'll see you next week, hopefully, for some content.
Yeah,
Thanks so much. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed this.
you too. Me too.
We done?
Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thanks
Bye.
for tuning in.